March 2023, a group of researchers formed the Truth Mafia, a collective determined to investigate conspiracies and occult mysteries that have been buried for centuries. With a passion for uncovering the truth, they delve into the darkest corners of history, pop culture, and ancient mysteries, seeking answers to questions that have plagued humanity for ages. The Truth Mafia is led by Tommy Truthful, a man shrouded in mystery and intrigue, dedicated to uncovering the hidden truths behind some of the world's most perplexing and enigmatic phenomena. Their research has led them down countless rabbit holes, from deciphering ancient symbols to exploring the hidden meanings behind popular media and literature. Despite the risks and challenges they face, the Truth Mafia remains steadfast in their quest for knowledge. Will their investigations lead to groundbreaking revelations, or will they unravel an even deeper web of secrets and lies? Only time will tell in this ongoing saga of conspiracy and intrigue.
Welcome, my brothers and sisters. We got a special podcast today for you. Me and my brother JayDreamerZ. We're going to be talking about this plasma apocalypse event and getting into this book called the Hearth book, which I updated on my website, truthmafia.com. You'll see a link in there to the person's website where you can grab they actually got some really cool stuff over there too, besides not just this book, but yeah, we're going to get into that today. And then I got a couple other subjects we're going to talk about, get into the Hoover Dam a little bit and what I think is coming there. I was just talking to Jay about this offline. The symbolism we seen with Super Bowl 46 with Madonna, where she kind of looked like the Hoover Dam. And it's all connected to what I believe is coming, and yeah, we're going to get into it. So JayDreamerZ, how you doing today, brother?
Good. She super looks like the Hoover Dam. Like that looks like a Halloween costume. Like I'm the Hoover Dam.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was so bizarre. And I didn't see anyone else that's just where my mind goes. Yeah. I mean, even the two things right there, I'm like, dude, she is totally symbolizing the Hoover Dam right there. Like,
yeah. I mean, even like the little flags look like the little columns at the front, at the bottom. And there's the arms of the chair come out with the building at the bottom and stuff. It looks exactly like that.
Yeah. And if we had a major event happen there, Jay, I mean, just think, okay, so this is what I believe the Omega event will be, brother. Think of all the people that their power would go down. I mean, what? Yeah. California, Nevada, who else? Arizona.
Right. And then there would be subsequent, problems and stuff because of all of the deaths and flooding and things like that.
Oh, dude, a tsunami. And we keep seeing all this tsunami programming. Imagine the tsunami that would come from this. And if you ever watched Apple TV, which shout out, Apple TV has had the best series lately. I got to say, me and Donut was talking about this the other day. If it's on Apple TV, it's usually fire. And there's a series, Jay, called C. Did you ever watch it?
SEE?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so it's like 500 years after an apocalyptic event happens and everybody goes blind. So there's the plasma programming in it too. And now in that one dude's in it that what's his name? He's
Aquaman?
Aquaman.
That guy?
Yeah. Aquaman's in it.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Okay, so yeah.
I saw the preview. Immediately I'm like, oh, I know what this movie's about.
Oh, it's straight plasma apocalypse programming. And in that movie, the lady that's the queen, she's the queen of all the tribes that came together after this major event, right? And she rules from her castle at the Hoover Dam. And she goes crazy. Yeah, her castle's the Hoover Dam, and they think the Hoover Dam is God because it's still running. So it's still powering stuff up, and they pray to it. And I don't want to get into how they pray because it's very disturbing. Yeah, they're praying in it is pleasuring themselves. That's all I'm going to say. And Yeah, so that she's over there praying to the machine. They don't like realize it's just a machine keeping the power going. And everybody starts to turn against her. So she ends up breaking the machine and the Hoover Dam blows open in a tsunami.
Wow.
Yeah, all the people live at the bottom of the Hoover Dam. Like if you're looking at it from up here, down here, they're like on the side banks. There's just all these cities down there, and it's kind of dried up down here a little bit. And she breaks that part open, and a tsunami just pours out, bro. Like a couple 100-foot tall tsunami. It's nuts. So
That's
we,
interesting. And then you also, we both said, pointed out that there was the Hoover Dam symbolism in the movie The Transformers
yes, sir.
and
Yep.
Superman too, right? Wasn't it? I'm pretty
Um,
sure the Hoover Dam broke in one of the Superman movies.
I think you're right. I think it definitely was in one of the Superman movies. Um,
I'm
I
checking.
I think I actually kept a slide. I don't know if I screenshotted it. Let me see.
Probably did. I remember.
On the Hoover, yep, I did. Yep, I got them all here. I just forgot to put them in. Yeah, so the Hoover Dam was in the movie Transformers, and back a couple years ago, guys, you'll remember that the Transformer blew up at the Hoover Dam. Remember? So and then it was in the movie Transformers. So the scene in Transformers that Jay's talking about, I'm about to put it up right now. Hold on, let me take one of these pictures down since I got too many pictures up here. All right, here we go. Let me pull this one out and then we'll get into that one. Okay, here we go, guys. And then we'll talk about this book a little bit too. It's very fascinating, but first I want to go over this. Oh, here it is. Okay, right there. Bam. It's also lined up with the San Andreas fault line, which I got a screenshot of too. And right here is the image. Now, as you notice, you got the 322 right up there, Jay, which they always put. That's
Right.
from the movie Transformers, right?
Wow.
Yeah, the 322.
What's the name of that organization that guy's in? Isn't it like Sector 6 or Sector 7 or something?
Something like that. Yeah, it's a weird organization, and what their job is kind of like the CIA, right? Something
Right.
kind of similar to that, but it says this laboratory has worked 322 days without a safety breach. And just to let y'all know, this year is the 322nd year anniversary of Yale University, which created Skull and Bones. And if you're looking at from the San Andreas Fault, the Hoover Dam kind of lines up perfectly with that, right across there. So maybe they'll say something like a major earthquake is what ends up splitting it up the middle. And then the symbolism behind it too. I was telling Jay, it's all the black sun. And what did you say about the black sun, Jay? Could be from inner Earth.
Yeah, I was just speculating because I feel like in my research I've come across many examples where a person or a group of people will take a title or a name and they believe that it applies to a certain thing, so they apply it there and it gains in popularity. But sometimes there's origins to those things that have those names, and sometimes we may get them mixed up. So for example, the regular sun, right? If you look at many of the modern archaeologists, they'll interpret almost any circular object that they find that seems like it has light coming off of it as our sun today. Like if they find a hieroglyph or something, they'll be like, oh, they worship the sun. And we all know what they mean by that, which is the point of focus up there in the sky that's shining down on us today. But I believe that there was a different sun the further back in time we go. And there was actually many records that indicate that there was many suns, different suns. So how do we, are we sure that it's this sun that we're under today? They're not going to speculate because they're still under the modern influence of academia.
Right.
That basically they'll always say there was only this sun. and that's all there has been for millions of years. But the records indicate otherwise. The writings and the historic records from our ancestors indicate that there were many suns. Some of them lasted longer than others, and there were different sizes and stuff. But with the black sun, I feel like that's also possible. That's people have some different ideas. The inner Earth sun is commonly known as the black sun, or the heart of the Earth, the energetic source of the Earth, where the energy comes out of, right? And it powers the whole Earth, because the Earth, it acts almost kind of like a biological organism, or you could say a machine, in that it needs power. it does not need the sun, the point of focus up there in the sky. It makes that's a part of it, but it needs spirit, it needs power, it needs energy. You know what I mean? And what's the better place for that to be than in the center, right? Inside. So there's many legends that where people have discussed going down into the hollow parts of the Earth and witnessing some misty, smoky, neon star type of hovering ball of light, which is typically called the dark sun or the black sun. It doesn't have to be black in color, like it's a shadow. It could be black as in dark, like a dark light, like a neon light, or you know what I mean? Something that's not so bright as like the regular light, something that's a dark light or a dark sun, right? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
More of like a glow to it than a shining, brilliant light or something. So that's one, the hollow Earth sun. Another one would be there are objects that are invisible up there in our atmosphere, especially above the sun. The firmament itself is pretty much invisible. Like, people look up and they just see dark black shadow, and then they see the stars and stuff. But there's other objects up there that tend to be circular in nature. The most popular one that I know of is Rahu, or an entity, a circular object up there that some people call planetary body that's missing, or it's the missing sun, or it's the Amun Ra, right? The sun that is left and is missing. And then there's a third option for me, which is this inverted dome, which I believe is a part of the firmament that is responsible for projecting the actual stars above us. Because I believe that there's parts of the firmament that project holographic images, basically, and some that it's the opposite. Their light comes to a point and it creates little focal points, which we call stars, or the sun itself. The sun's the biggest focal point. So those are my three options that I'm more inclined to, to believe in when it comes to the concept of the dark sun, the dark one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. My opinion, I definitely think it's that we're seeing these two suns now. People are reporting all these images. Yeah, I think it's from inner Earth. That's my opinion on it. But what do I know?
Well, it could be all of them. I mean, like, I've found it's often every answer. I'm the type of person who wants to check all the answers because I can see all the different possibilities. But I think that there's a good case for all of them, right? Especially that there's an inner Earth energetic source. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
that source, it pulls in energy, right? It charges. So right now the Earth is charging from our perspective on the surface. All the energy is being sucked into the Earth. Which, if you want to equate that to science fiction and fantasy and magic and stuff, this is the loss of magic in our world. This is magic dwindling away as all the energy gets sucked in through all of the different places of power and ley lines and dragon lines and stuff, and it's being pulled in. And it only has, in this final age, it only has rare occurrences of flux where the energy will manifest and it'll pop back out from time to time. And then usually those areas are areas of importance or places of power where important people are born, prophets are born during those times in those specific locations and things like that.
Yeah, it's so my thing with there's a bunch of videos I'm seeing right now in my this Facebook group I'm on. All these videos are showing the twin suns, and my theory with Project Blue Beam too. I got a crazy theory about it because how everybody said oh, Project Bluebeam is for the fake alien invasion. But
Right.
what if it was to project a false hologram image on the sky so we couldn't see what's really going on up there during this plasma event? You know what I mean? Instead of projecting I'm not saying they couldn't do that with it too, but they definitely could spray the nanoparticulates, right, with the chemtrails, and then project this false hologram up there so it could just look like a normal sky when there's all kinds of crazy things really going on that we're not seeing right now. But yeah,
Right.
that's my theory about
So
the whole Project Bluebeam thing.
I like it. I'm not super convinced about the government projecting holograms into the sky. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm sure they can do it, but on a worldwide scale, that's a
Yeah,
lot of
but
sky
what
to
if
cover.
they only had to do? No, I get what you're saying there, and I thought about that. What if they only had to do a specific location to block the twin sun or whatever? You know what I mean? They could
Right.
only see it from that point.
Yeah. Well, there's also there's some symbolism in the movies for the twin suns too. A lot of times they'll show many different movies where they have uh planets or places, or sometimes it's an alternate version of Earth where it has two suns, or sometimes even three, or two moons or three moons. Um
Yeah, that
and
horror movie had that.
I feel my theory on that is that it has a lot to do with the actual structure of our world, which I think is a good segue into that book that we were referencing and talking about earlier. That what's it called? The Hearth
A Hearth
book.
book. Yeah, this book's amazing, guys, and we're gonna pull that up right now. This guy that wrote it, he did a phenomenal job on this book, and I actually reached out to him, and we're gonna interview him. He hit me back. He's actually a really cool dude too. I talked to him a little bit before we just did this video. So over on truthmafia.com, if you go to the second page, or you can just type in the search bar, the Hearth book. And he did a lot of these drawings by well, all of them by hand. And yeah, it's just phenomenal. When I first read it, I thought of Jay. Now, when I first put it up, this is what I reached out to him for, because I found a PDF online and all these sites had it up there for free. And then Jay hit me back. He's like, "Hey Tommy, I looked into the dude that wrote the book, and he has the book on his website. So, it's not supposed to be free." But there was a lot of people just putting the PDF up there for free. And I was guilty of it because I had no clue. So I reached out to him. I told him, I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm sorry I put your book on my website for free. I didn't know that you were actually selling the book." And he was
Which was
cool.
very kind, and I applaud you, my friend, for doing the right thing. That made me feel good to hear you say that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, look, man, I'm all about free movies. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go to fmovies.to and get some free movies, just use the Brave search engine, or you'll get pop-ups. I'm all about that because that's big movie corporations. But this guy, he's a true seeker like us. I mean, he worked hard on this book. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I believe that he should get the credit if he's selling it, and plus you get a way better copy. Um, the copy's just phenomenal that he did. And here's
yeah,
his YouTube channel too, guys. He's got a Instagram. All of his links are in the blog over here where you can click on it. He's got some other stuff too. I noticed, Jay, on his site, like you told me, he had all these different, like this one I'm interested in. I'm about to order this for myself. Hollywood Alchemy, because I got to see what he's talking. I'm all about alchemy. And when it comes to Hollywood, I need to know, bro. I need to
yeah,
know what type of movie, because this is what I do, the movie decodes. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see what he's into with that stuff. So he's got some really cool stuff over here. And the one we're going to talk about today, guys, is his book, The Hearth book, which is just phenomenal. So what
yeah.
did you think?
Can you blow up that picture so that
Yes,
the audience can get a good feel for? I want them to really focus on the toroidal field.
that's as big as we can get. Is that good, audience?
Yeah, I mean, if that's as big as you can get it, then that's good.
Let me see something. I can probably do this though. Hold on, let me full screen. Boom.
And then after we
now we're
share that and talk about that, I'm gonna show you some little drawings I have over here.
So first thing I want to point out is Hearth book is 40 like knowledge. And I believe this is the true knowledge of this reality that we're in, guys. This we have a torus field around our body. We have a torus field surrounding the earth, which I believe has to do with the firmament of the earth. And this is the knowledge that the secret societies keep from the masses. We're not supposed to know about it, right? Um, and a torus, the torus looks kind of like a donut. A shout out to Donut Factory. That's pretty much what it looks like, right?
Yeah,
And
totally.
let me
It
see
is
it.
a donut. Hey, I don't want to. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but did you ever hear that movie called Extinct? It's like a Disney Pixar looking movie about the extinct animals.
Oh no, I haven't ever seen that. What's
Oh,
it
bro, I
called?
broke it down. You got to check it out. But they have these extinct animals that look like donuts, basically, and they
What?
totally represent little toroidal fields. It's crazy. Go ahead. Sorry.
I gotta check that one out. Look, what's it called again? Extinct
Extinct. Yeah, I did it's on my breakdown. I'll send it to you
on
so you can check
your
out the breakdown I did.
for all my people. All Jay Dreams' links are in the description. Go check out his Truth in Movies. Go check out his Ancient Oblivion. Them are my favorite ones you do, bro.
So
I
Tommy, thanks, man. I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're fine.
Someone in my chat said they just came in. What's with all the donuts? So, you want to tell them about like the donut shape and how it relates to like the torus and the toroidal fields and stuff and the things that you found?
Yeah. The donut is the shape of what we're talking about right now, this toroidal field.
Mm-hmm.
And this has to do one image that I want to show you real quick. Let me get to it because this is the one I thought was super cool. Hold on, let me get here real fast. Then we'll go backwards in reverse, guys. There's this one image. Right here. So in Sonic, right? Sonic, he has to gather the 7 emeralds to go supersonic, which symbolize our 7 chakras. The root chakra, our crown chakras. You have 7 different chakras. And what it reminded me of this slide here was, and this gets into going from silver to gold, the kundalini releasing up the 33 vertebrae connecting to our pineal gland, our third eye. And what it reminded me of, guys, was when Jay talks about during the plasma apocalypse, certain people will get superpowers. That's what I thought of when I
Yeah.
first see this slide, bro. I was like, man, that's kind of, maybe that's what does it. The during this plasma event. And why do you think the plasma supercharges people, Jay?
Well, it does. There's different things that happen, right? There's some powers that are inherited, that people just naturally already have. It's just that you're not changing. It's your environment that changes. So in comparison with the environment we currently live in, you will appear to everyone else who survived to have superpowers. I mean, well, everyone will look at you and be like, wow, you clearly have superpowers, like strength, like super strength. Super speed comes with super strength because your muscles are stronger and stuff. Jumping extremely far distances and stuff, that comes with that. Other things, they'll be dependent upon your proximity to these places of power, as I call them, or inner earth cavernous entrances where these fountains of youth are erupting, basically, which can alter DNA. Perfecting the DNA, it can cause your cells to regenerate. So the closer you live to these places of power, the longer you live for, because your body will constantly just be, resupplying its cells every day, and it won't degrade or anything. So it would be almost like entropy has been paused for a time, and many people will not experience death for an entire age until those beams of light go away. And then there's other things too, like telepathic abilities and other types of fringe things that have to do with using your spirit. and the spirit being so amplified and so strong, and the aura outside of the body being so strong that it has an effect on different people in different ways as well. Like telepathy would be one, being able to read people's thoughts or feel them or sense, sense their energy or whatnot. Other people, it might not be as strong in them, so they may have to touch in order to initiate or sort of jumpstart telepathy and stuff. But there are different types of what we call superpowers. And the sonic, I want to go back to sonic real quick. So you said that he had to collect the 7 gemstones in order to activate his supersonic ability?
Yeah, he has to collect the 7 gemstones in Sonic the Hedgehog. Yep.
Right. So he's the blue one. He represents going super fast, having superpowers and stuff, just like you said. So he represents the blue beam of light that comes up out of Mount Meru, from my perspective. And in order,
well, when he goes supersonic, he turns yellow, though.
Yeah, well, that beam of light, it's got different colors. I just call it the blue beam for simplicity's sake, right? But that's actually different colors, okay? So it's mostly like a bluish white, I believe, because the Earth is releasing so much ionized oxygen that's bursting forth out of it, right? But you have to think, as it shoots up, it's also going to combine with other gases up in the atmosphere, which will cause it to change colors, because different gases that are ionized, they emit light at different wavelengths, so they emit different colors, which gives rise to like the phoenix symbolism and the bird spreading its wings and being multicolored and having all these different colors. And they describe it from the bottom all the way up to the head and to the wings and stuff too. But he has to collect those 7 stones, those 7 precious gems or whatnot, which to me, they represent what's known as the Septon Trio, or the 7 trees, or the 7 mountains, or plasma volcanoes that turn into, mini versions of the tree of life that surround it on the island that's hidden up at the North Pole. And that's why this is on all of the ancient maps. They call that region Septon Trio, which doesn't mean, Septon means 7. Trio doesn't really mean 3, like how it sounds. It's not like a trio of, whatever, right. 3 things. It's Deru. It's actually related to the word tree. So the 7 trees of the garden that surround and act as witnesses to the main one, which is like the Christ figure or the Savior figure or the God figure, the Messiah figure, or whatever. And it's also all the 7 symbolism that you see all throughout the book of Revelation in the Bible. I'll just list a few, but there's a lot. There's 7 churches. 7 letters are sent out. The 7 spirits of God are also these 7 energetic beams of light that surround the throne. There's the golden lampstands, and the golden color too itself is also associated with the blue beam of Mount Meru, especially whenever it retracts, it leaves a glow, an afterglow. It's a plasma afterglow. And they say that it's a golden color.
That golden color is also like the solar consciousness, which is electric energy, and the blue is the moon conscious and lunar consciousness, which is magnetic energy. And for the new people that just came in here, if you don't know what's going on, we're talking about the torus field, right? And the concept of the torus field is widely discussed right now, especially within the spiritual communities. And it's believers think that these donut-shaped energy vortices create a unique energy pattern that is crucial to the functioning of our consciousness in our physical body. It is believed that all living things, including humans, have a 3-dimensional energy field that surrounds them. And here are some of the key points that explain why a torus field is important in these discussions right now. Holistical energy flow. The focus on torus field is rooted in the idea that energy should not only move upwards towards the spiritual realm, but also downwards, grounded towards the earth. This balance of energy. And the heart's role, it's all around the heart, right? The heart is considered the center of the torus field and is believed to generate a significant electromagnetic field. The heart chakra is seen as a bridge between the physical existence and the spiritual existence, and then self-sustaining energy. A healthy torus field is said to facilitate a self-replenishing flow of energy that contributes to vitality, balance, and higher vibration. Shout out to the high vibe tribe, Jay's people, and energetic protection. The Taurus is also providing a protective shield, repelling negative energies and clearing stagnation. The flow of the Taurus is believed to help clear stuck energy from our aura, contributing to a person's energetic cleanliness and balance. And then we have the central column. The central column of the Taurus field running through the heart is considered a channel through which individuals can ground themselves and connect with higher spiritual frequencies. Chakra activation, it's also connected to the chakras. And a lot of practitioners use meditative visualization with it, using visualization exercises involving the Taurus field to enhance grounding, balance, and spiritual connection. So if that they use it in Reiki, stuff like this, holistic healing, if that helps for some of the people that just came in. So, sorry, Jay, I didn't. And then,
Dude, my bad, I was muted.
oh, you was muted.
No,
And then,
I'm agreeing with you 100%. This is fractal, and therefore it's holographic, and therefore it's everywhere. And it's this concept of the toroidal field is integral to everything. That because it's in everything, because everything is fractal and it's reflecting off of everything else. And so if we can understand the toroidal field at the small levels, we'll be able to apply it to our realm that we live in, and we can better understand the nature of the world and how it really works whenever we apply the things like plasma physics and the toroidal fields and things.
yeah, it's awesome, right? And that's the knowledge they don't want us to know. Dude, they don't want us to realize that we can actually heal ourselves with our mind. And I mean, the just look at big pharma. That's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. It would destroy that instantly if people knew the true knowledge of how we can really cure ourselves, especially once we get our bodies in alignment, and we start eating properly, eating alive, fresh, organic foods, pHing our body, making sure we're taking in the right kind of water. That's so important too, because even this bottled water they got us drinking, they're still putting fluoride in it, which is calcifying your pineal gland, your third eye, which is your spiritual antenna. There's nothing evil about this knowledge. And that's another thing they'll tell you, oh, it's new age, it's evil. This is ancient knowledge.
Yeah.
Nothing new age about it.
I mean, it'll take us back into a new age,
Right? Yeah.
And all of the things we learned in this world will be forgotten esoteric knowledge. Even things that are common in this world and common sense things and stuff will be lost. And the only people that will retain that are the survivors, or areas, specifically designed to withstand the apocalypse or whatever, like where they've kept libraries and stuff, retaining the world's knowledge. But just living in this age, just being an average citizen, not even, someone that's researching all the time or anything, but just an average person will be such a valuable resource knowledge-wise. They'll be the storytellers of the future, when people will come to us asking what the world was once like. When we'll tell them we used to wonder what it was going to be like. We used to wonder what all this around us is going to be like,
Yeah. Yeah, and then they'll want to hear the stories of what it used to be like.
Yeah.
It'll sound crazy to them when we tell them.
Yeah.
Right?
The toroidal field, I like some of these pictures it showed. Can you show that picture of the one where it had maybe the earth and there was a person with like chakras and stuff like that?
Yeah, I can go back to that. I mean, all of them are so beautiful the way he did them.
Oh, yeah. Wait, go back to that one. I want to see that other one.
This one?
One more.
With the spider?
Wow. Yeah, I really like all of these actually. But no. Keep going back.
Okay. Yeah, they're all cool. This one's pretty cool.
I need one that shows like the earth in the middle.
Oh,
it should be like
the beginning.
Okay.
I know where it's at. Hold on a second. This one's kind of cool too. We'll come back to this one. All the different gods they got us putting our energy into.
That's cool. Oh, that one works. Go back to that big one.
Oh, okay. You sure not this one?
Yeah, that's kind of small. I want the big one.
This
Please
one?
and thank you. One more, I think. Yeah,
This
this one. I like this one. All right, so let's check this out real quick. You see, this has the blue beam in the
Yeah.
middle. The blue beam is just a physical appearance of something that's already there, something that's invisible right now that some of us can tune into and some of us can sense, and we know that it's there. And this is also a large scale, on a worldwide scale, of things that are happening with us as individuals and with us collectively, believe it or not. But it shows you the blue beam shooting straight up from the middle of the world right there. Now, we would interpret this as, well, it's just a graph. It's just, a mental representation, but it's not. This is actually, they show you that exact same beam spreading out at the top, just like that in that Transformers movie, Rise of the Beasts,
Yep.
where they had that signal that shot up from the library or whatever.
Yep.
And they're
That
like,
was.
oh, only the Transformers can see this, so don't worry, the humans won't panic or whatever.
Yep. That scene. And bro, I thought of you when I seen that scene. That was before we were friends when I watched it.
Well, I want to incorporate this into this sort of working model that I'm using. If you don't mind me sharing my screen, if
Of
you're
course.
done with this particular part of it.
Yep. 100%. Just go to hit your share part and I'll add it to there. Shout out
Got
to
it.
everybody in the live. We got 600 people in here. Hit them likes, guys, please. And thank you. Add to screen.
All right, cool. So this is my screen now, and I'm going to do a little drawing. Forgive my crude models or whatnot, but this is a crude depiction of our portion of the Earth. Okay, the surface up here where we live, where we commonly call the Earth and the world and stuff, right? So what I've done is I've drawn you at the bottom. This represents the ground, our ground, the ground to us. And then up here on the sides, this represents the firmament that goes up, almost like a snow globe. But you'll notice that I drew the firmament a little different. It looks strange here at the top. And that has to do with how the firmament is made. So let's assume that the firmament is made out of a natural substance, that it's referred to as being hard, like rock and things like that, and glass, so that it's breakable, right? So the substance that I lean towards is ice, that the gases up there, that they freeze directly into ice, and the gases that are up there, they conform to the magnetic field that's naturally rising up from the actual surface of the ground. The surface of the ground has the energy running through it, and it creates a magnetic dome over our world, or an invisible barrier, an invisible protective barrier that's keeping out plasma and all kinds of things out here in quote unquote space. Got it? So whenever all of that pressure builds up inside of this world, hold on, where's my little...
Jay, I put the link to the Hearth book from in the blog in our private chat for you too. It's in my description though, guys. You'll see the link in the description of this video on my YouTube, the Truth Mafia podcast. Or if you go on truthmafia.com, because I see people in the comments interested in getting the book, you just go on truthmafia.com, type in the Hearth book, and bam, all his links are right there. So
Excellent. All right, so pressure builds up inside of this over time as gases from the Earth itself are released over time. Many different gases are released. Creatures are born into this world. Everything that comes into this world adds pressure to the world, but especially the gases that are released from the Earth itself, right? Whenever the electromagnetic barrier goes down, all of those gases rush up towards the ceiling to the apex of the bowl above us, or the firmament, and it bursts. It blows a hole out of the top. So this, you see this little eyeball staring down at the Earth, which is pretty much what it's referred to as. Imagine this is not here. Let me just erase this real quick. So this goes away up here. This is not here. Just pretend this is not here, right? So you got a hole in the firmament. Boom. Right? But whenever it refreezes, now you have a different structure energetically. So the current has now changed. The magnetic current will change because the shape of the structure it's following is changed, which means it will do the opposite and will create this inverted dome that the gases will follow this inverted dome, which will turn into ice, and you'll have an inverted dome that is facing the ground at the North Pole, above the North Pole in the sky. right? And then if you did that again and you actually had another hole that blew out right in the middle, it would do the same thing, but it would flip around, and it would, instead of, being a dome, an inverted dome, it would be an inverted crater that we're looking up at, which would give us the pupil of the eye or whatever, right? So all that pressure rushes up to the top, blows a hole up there. And then whenever it refreezes and it recreates itself, we have what looks like an eyeball that's staring right back down at us, right? And in the next stage, I believe that we'll be able to see this structure, and that it will be like a glowing red color, probably more darker red right here in the middle where the pupil part would be, and then a lighter color red out here towards the edges, and then just the sky itself would probably be, even lighter color red. And that would be like the all-seeing eye symbolism or whatnot, right? This is following the toroidal field. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's see. Let me go ahead and show you this. No, not that yet. All right, cool. So if we put another world and we flip it down and we put it underneath us, this would be the upside down, like in Stranger Things. This is the world beneath our feet. This right here in the center is the hollow earth. This right here in the center is the central portion or whatnot. And then this,
now you're talking my language.
These people down here would be upside down to us, basically. Like, you know what I mean? Because of how the pressure and the how like density works and all the pressure and stuff like that, and
like
the buoyancy factors.
As above, so below. Have you ever watched that?
I have not seen that, but
they go so
everyone
deep,
tells me to watch that.
They end up coming out, and then they're upside down when they try
right.
to come out of the hole.
Yeah, that's what this is, right? So you go into these inner earth entrances. You can go down into the cavernous area. There's columns and hold on, let me draw a little. There's like little columns and stuff, that are inside the earth in different places or whatever. And you have to imagine this is 3-dimensional. This is almost like a Pokeball too from Pokemon. But anyways, the toroidal field, it branches, it's the shape of the world basically. So the world conforms to the same shape. So around the edges, it's almost like an apple. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's got like this type of a shape. It's got a dent at the top and the bottom. So it'll dent this way. And then if I use blue to represent the blue beam energy, you can see more of the toroidal field develop, because this is the heart of the earth right here in the center. If I overlay, well, don't pay any attention to this one over here. I don't know what that is.
Right. That's crazy.
Hold on. I got to delete that. That's terrible. I can't stand that. Doesn't belong there. I don't know why that's there. But anyways, these would be like the chakras of the earth in its totality, right? So we would have the top one, the middle one, all the way down. This would be like one of the black suns that we talked about earlier, or the heart of the earth, the central energy, which pulls in the energy or whatever. And this is like the chakras of the world. Now I'll get rid of that and I'll show you whenever it erupts. Right? It flows in one direction. The energy will flow in one direction until we have a reversal, in which case it'll reverse and it'll go around the other way. Before that, we have a flux, though. We have a neutral point. It all goes into every way, basically.
Which right now, Jay, just in the last couple of weeks, people sent me graphs from Turkey, and the magnetic field is shifting dramatically, bro.
I believe it.
Yeah. They showed me a difference from a 2-week period, and it blew my mind.
So imagine this is happening in the world under us right now. They're the magic world. They're the world filled with energy. All of that energy is going down in this direction. Okay, so it's flooding in the underworld right now with lots of energy and life. That beam shoots up. It conforms to the toroidal field, to the electromagnetic currents, and it splits off at the top. This gives us many different images that people interpret in their own manner, in their own ways. This is the ancient Vav. This is the Y shape that we talked about. This turns into a cross beam. This turns into the, man, my mind just went blank, but it's the Saxon world tree, right? This is the tree of life, etc. But when it reverses, it'll come up our way. It'll shoot up this direction. And it'll come out like this. And there'll be a Y in the sky, basically.
It's going to happen to the people that's in inner earth when that happens.
What's that?
So say if there are...
down here?
Yeah, down there. What's going to happen to them?
So down here is constantly charged. So like down here, it doesn't matter if you're up, if it doesn't matter if it's going up or down. Down here is constantly charged. And the closer you are to the central area in the actual middle, the more charged it'll be, the longer you'll live, the bigger animals you'll see and stuff. But this whole area, this whole cavernous area, to me, it seems that it would naturally be energetically charged all of the time, which is why there are so many stories of those, like all these things that line up, these stories about how there's giants inside of the earth, and how there's giant animals, and there's giant flora and fauna, fruits and vegetables. Everything's gigantic whenever you get down in here into the halls, the Hall of Records, the Hall of Amenti. That's why they're called halls, because they're in the earth. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're caves. They're cavernous systems. It's a huge cavernous system inside, so big that it has its own atmosphere. So if you were standing on this side looking up or whatever, you might not even see the roof. You might not even see the actual solid portion of the land above you.
Hey, Brandon, from your chat said you guys are describing Godzilla versus King Kong.
We are.
It is kind of that. He's right.
The movie totally portrays that.
Yeah.
And then you can see, like, if now understanding this, remember how earlier I said that if we can understand better how toroidal fields work, how energy flows, how it moves, the different laws that are in effect when it comes to energy, and the physics behind it and stuff, then we can have a better understanding of our physical, actual world that we live in. So I'll give you another example. And these are crude, just, keep in mind, like, for example, the dome could be steeper than this or whatever. I don't know. So I'm going to I drew another version of this. Okay, this is just the top portion where we live, our dome or whatever, our little snow globe. And then I'll add in the light as it's coming down from above. So the light is currently going downwards like this, or the energy, I should say. The light follows suit, but the energy is coming down. While it comes down, it's wrapping around the dome. So all this energy is flowing in a direction, spiraling, wrapping all the way around the dome because it can't pass through it, or at least the physical portion. The light can pass through it, but it's spiraling all the way around, wrapping all the way around, which gives us a focal point in our sky, but it gives the world underneath us an altogether different skies. I'll show you what I mean here. Oh no, did I mess that up? I may have messed it up. Hold on, let me double check here. Well, I'll just draw it. I had it drawn out earlier. All right, so we'll start off with some light. This is just going to be super generic. So the light's coming down. Now, when the plasma hits the dome, the physical part of the plasma will conform to it, and it'll just keep on staying outside of the dome, right? It doesn't pass through physical objects. But the light may pass through clear, not glass, but ice, right? Same type of thing. So the light hits this, refracts, it comes inwards. It continues on until it hits the ground. Same thing on this side. And you have to imagine these are only two lines I'm drawing, but in reality, this is three-dimensional. This gives us a focal point in the middle, which is the sun. And then it redistributes the light onto the land that we call daytime or whatnot. You can also kind of see the Batman symbol in here, right? Almost at the top, right? Pretty interesting.
Batman is huge right now, too. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Now, let's imagine, I'm gonna toss, the Bible talks about there being waters above. So let's put some waters above here just for funsies. We'll put them above the sun. And then we'll go back to our light source, and we'll have it, instead of hitting the firmament, which is over here, and anything that hits this portion of the dome helps to create the sun. Okay, because it all meets down here. But if it hits the inverted dome, it does the opposite, and it creates a projection, which is cast onto the waters above, or atmosphere, or whatever it's on up there as a screen or whatever, you know what I mean? So this inverted dome, this portion of it right here, all the way up until its inverted dome, helps to create like stars and stuff in the sky, all these types of things. Now, this one right here is the same shape as the firmament, so it would create another focal point. And I'm kind of running out of colors to use, but you get the point, right? It would create another focal point or whatever, but it would be like the sun, but altogether different or whatnot. Not as big, not as powerful. You know what I mean? And it would redistribute in the form of like, moonlight or whatever. Now, these are all facing different directions. So this is just a two-dimensional drawing. It's very crude, but you have to imagine, right? If we go all the way back, these lights, this energy that is outside is spiraling. It's moving downward and it's spiraling all the way around. So if this is what is causing the heavenly luminaries above, then we should expect every luminary in the sky, with anomalous exceptions, because there's actually incongruities in the dome in the form of mini domes and craters and stuff. But all those lights, as we see in our sky, they all follow this exact same path. You know what I mean? Like the sun goes in that direction, the stars go in that direction, the moon goes in that direction. Except for the planets that sometimes go retrograde, those are the wandering stars. And that has a lot to do with like the spirograph type of action from above and the light hitting different anomalies on the actual dome itself. But this will give you this shape comes from that toroidal field, basically. So that toroidal field is this right here. It comes out, it goes into what is known as like a Z pinch, where it sort of like collapses in on itself, but it's all self-contained. We have that here. We have a larger version of it that extends into the other world here. So you can see how it works, right? Coming down, fluctuating, coming down, going back out. And this is the apple with like the bite taken out of it. If you like look at this from the side, you know what I mean? Like this is like an apple with like a bite taken out or whatnot. This is the fruit and stuff like that. This is on a macrocosmic, huge worldwide scale. And this is what we find lining up with our very own bodies too. So I feel like the more we understand how plasma works, how energy works, even simple electricity and things like that, because there's so much more energy than just electricity, right? We've really focused on electricity in this age that we're in, but energy is all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
All over the place. You don't have to like go do something special to make energy. It's everything's made out of energy already. So anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to share was like those images right there and relate them to like the toroidal field.
Okay. Yeah, I went and while you were doing that, I went and found that image of the bearing. So this is what they showed from Turkey, and this is on my Facebook page, Truth Mafia. But you can see it changed a lot, bro. And hold on, let me go to the one. Let me present this screen. This group is crazy. I'm part of over here. I love this group. I just watch all this weird stuff in it. It's called Monitoring Nibiru, and they share all kinds of crazy stuff. Like this video, bro, with the suns going up. I don't know what that is, but there's some crazy stuff in here you guys could check out. I'm not going to show no videos because we're streaming live, but there's a bunch of images that are pretty cool too with the twin suns and just like some bizarre stuff that I can't even.
Yeah. Well, bro, the moon is basically a sun, right? It's not a rock that's up there hovering that's going to land on us or whatever. That's a sun. If we mean a light in the sky, then the moon is a sun. You know what I mean? It's just a lesser sun at the moment. But there's legends that indicate that the moon used to be lit up like it was another sun. And you know what I mean? It's not like you could look at it and see all the craters or whatever. It was too bright. Couldn't see anything. It was a sun. But then it dimmed. It died. It started dying over time. And then this one gained in its power, which all has to do how that light is acting out there, because that light above the firmament is pulsating. It's moving, it's spiraling and vibrating, right? And when it acts differently, when it hits different portions of the firmament, it will cast its light in different directions. Sometimes strengthening one focal point or one light in the sky, or enlarging one hologram up there in the sky.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me get out of here. I don't know what the hell is going on. All right, I wanted to show you this. Oops, sorry. There we go. Got out of that.
And there's also the prophecy that the moon will turn into another sun-like entity in the future. The Bible says that the sun will become 7 times brighter, which is, I believe, we're experiencing that, and that the moon will also become so bright that it'll be like the sun, but at nighttime, like a dark
So,
sun light at night.
see how they're spraying the sky like this, bro? What
Mhm.
are they hiding? They're obviously hiding something. So they don't even have to project images. My theory, I do believe they do that, but they don't even need to do that. They could just hide it with the chemtrails. I mean, what are they hiding up there? And it's in where I'm at in Ohio, you always see it right when the sun's going down and right when the sun's going up.
Yeah.
So they spray it every morning. So you can't, there's something back there they don't want us to see. And I told my people when I was growing up, dude, the sun didn't look like a flashlight. Now it's like instead of being orange, Jay, it's this bright white color and it has 2 beams of light shooting out of it. What the
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that.
what is going on with it? I mean,
Well, I believe that whenever the energy reverses, um, there was this dude, Brian Austin Lambert, and he talked a lot about these types of alternative cosmologies and how the plasma affects the cosmological world that we live in. And one thing that he said that really stuck with me was that if the light is coming downwards, if the energy is coming down from above, it's creating the sunlight and then it's redistributed towards us. We can't see the firmament because it's just like if you've ever been pulled over by a cop and they put the flashlight out in front of them, you
yeah,
can't see anything behind the cop because it's too bright. There's all that light and stuff that's headed our way. We can't see what's beyond it. You know what I mean? We just see shadows and stuff. However, whenever the light and the energy reverse, right now it's coming downwards, spiraling down towards us, and the time will come. Right now it's fluctuating, which is why the North Pole is starting to move, or the magnetic North Pole is moving. It's changing. It's going more towards its like true location, getting ready to settle. It's going to go out into flux, and when it goes into flux, there will be no cardinal directions. There will be no like magnetic, north and south and all that type of stuff for a short time. And whenever that happens, afterwards, the energy and the light will reverse direction, and that plasma will be traveling up the dome instead of down the dome. And there's a good chance that it will actually light up the firmament so that we can see it in all of its splendor and glory. And I think that's also another reason, because of the conditions change atmospherically, why the heavens, or our sky, was described in ancient times as being way bigger. And it's like everything was zoomed in, like they thought that the heavens would fall on top of the earth and that it would crush us. You know what I mean? And it has to
yeah,
do with optics and how whenever you change the conditions or the atmosphere and stuff, that it can magnify those luminaries. It can magnify those lights and stuff, so they look like they're way bigger and way closer. You don't need a or binoculars or telescopes or things like that in that age. Hey, what is that one too? Oh, wait, go back to that one. Okay, see on the right there, you see how it's got those rings, and then there's like this Mount Meru type looking cone in the middle?
yeah.
So this is accurate because it's got the sun on one side, the moon on the other side, Mount Meru in the middle, and then it's got that Squatterman symbol that has the
Right.
2 plasmoids under its armpits that I talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
I
these
know,
2.
dude. I told you this book is so crazy, bro. I thought of you so much when I was reading it.
Yeah, that's the Squatterman shape. That's the humanoid Jesus type figure shape that people see up in the sky that they carve into rocks and stuff. And would you type in
I can't
a
wait to
word?
read this
Can you
guy.
look something up?
Yeah. What do you want me to look up?
Do a search for Kanaga,
Oh, Kanaga.
Kanaga,
K-A-N.
and then just type in like symbol after that.
Oh, K-A.
I thought it was Kanga for the longest time. I was trying to find this symbol, but I was searching for it wrong. But it's Kanaga, which actually makes way more sense to me because the word Ka in ancient languages, it's there's different interpretations, but
Whenever you type in symbol, I learned to type in symbolism. It'll show you more stuff.
okay,
When you
sweet.
type in Kanaga symbol, see, there it
Now
is.
this is a headdress that's worn
That's it, dude.
by the Dogon tribe in Africa. And they put this on their heads and it represents their creator God that they saw in the sky that helped. I mean, there's many different gods that they have, but this is like the ultimate one or whatever. And this God helped with all of creation at the beginning of time. And then from this spawned the the Dogon. The word dog is called a fish in Hebrew,
This is
basically.
so
Dog or dog
interesting,
means fish.
bro. And look at this depiction. This is the knowledge that these secret societies keep from us, man.
Mm-hmm.
Orion. It kind of reminds me of a double-headed trident, too.
It
Right?
is. It's also the Psi, like the Psi symbolism.
Yeah.
It's the trident. It's Atlas holding up the moon or the sky or whatever.
The trident, and that symbolism is so prevalent right now with MH Flight 370. Just, they brought that back around again, which had the double tridents on the end. Two tridents, kind of like this. Just like the Twin Towers. If you look at the memorial of the Twin Towers, they have the one big trident, the one little, or the double tridents.
Yes.
The same symbolism.
Now this is that portion of it represents the toroidal field. The toroidal field is fractal, so it exists on many levels. So it's different sizes. You can find different examples of different sizes of toroidal fields within toroidal fields within toroidal fields. This is one that emanates from Mount Meru at the top, at the center of the world, at the heart of the world, and it's in the exact middle. And it creates a squatterman type of stick figure holding its arms up. And it can change. This is plasma. It's a shapeshifter. That's why this is Loki. That's why this represents so many different gods that can change their form. They can be male or female. They can appear in different ways because this is all perception. Oh, I like that ant one. That one's cool too.
Me too. That one's
the Nazca
fire.
lines.
That's plasma too, right?
I mean, it's a plasma form for sure.
But ain't this an actual location? They have this somewhere.
Yeah, it's in Nazca. It's the Nazca lines in South
Isn't
America.
that kind of weird? Like with all these plasma symbols, and then they got demons next to it, Asmodeus. Like what the heck? And Asmodeus, let me break it. Look, Asmodeus is the shape-shifting demon. So it's kind of funny that they have all these plasma signs, brother, that are shapeshifters, and then next to it they got the symbol of damn Asmodeus, who shapeshifted into Solomon, and for 40 days.
These are the demons that helped Solomon to build his temple, which is Mount Meru, which is the island at the top of the world. It's geoformed. Is that the right word? I don't know. Terraformed by entities that are electromagnetic in nature, which is basically electricity that can lift the ground, solidify it, petrify it, crack it open, move it, do all sorts of things. And this is attested to throughout time about these angels or entities. Some people see them as demons. Some people saw them as angels. It's all perspective, whether or not you see them as good or bad or helpful or not helpful.
100% it's perspective. I just did a video on that too. I haven't put it up yet, but it's based on Will Smith. He did this video back in 2019 where he's pretending like he's on a trip in Hawaii. And then he's like, man, this ain't Hawaii. This is a green screen. And then he's like, man, I ain't looked like this since the 90s. And he starts showing his old self. And he's like, everything is fake now. It's all perspective. And I did a whole breakdown on it. I'll have to put it up after this. But it just reminds me of that, because they definitely is different perspectives. And that's what they want to control, shifting the perspective and what with these
how people see it.
What took place at the bowling alley, which reminds me, let me see something. Hold on, let me look at I just did this video. I forget the code. I think it's, hold on, let me see. I got it right here.
These are all quintessential basic stick figure people that represent us because we're made in the likeness of it, right? This is what we
Power
look like.
power of perception. That's what he called the
Mhm.
video, guys. And power of perception equals 219 in English ordinal, matching Sandy Hook with the S word. I'm not going to say that part, but we don't want to get the video flagged. And World Trade Center is in that same cipher, as well as 33 degrees, which is the Freemasons that control this hidden knowledge and control the perspective of the masses. So, yeah, man, the power of perspective is real, dude.
Yeah, and people perceive these. That's why we have so many different religions and stories that on the surface they appear to be different from one another. But when you look at them collectively, they're all the same story. They're all resonant, history from each other. They're just being told from different perspectives, different places on Earth where different people experienced different things, saw different angles of things that were happening celestially or terrestrially. And like the quintessential little stick figure image of the people spreading their legs and holding their arms up in the sky, that's a man figure. That's a person figure basically. And day means God. So daemon is the God man. This is the image of the God man. This
Oh,
is
and
Adam Kadmon.
Zeus had the daemons. That's where we get the modern day word demon. Zeus had the daemons. Look into that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were entities. I think they were shapeshifters too, if I'm not mistaken. You got to look that up.
All of these are all across the board. These are all these types of godlike entities or symbols or whatever. They're almost always going to be or have shape-shifting abilities. It depends on the plasma and the electromagnetic discharge and how it's acting. So for example, like the Ouroboros is pretty much not really a shapeshifter because it's stuck in a current that goes around in a circle. So like, for example, there's a snake, Jormungandr, that goes around that island at the middle of the North Pole because it's a magnetic island basically. And there's an electrical current that goes all the way around it, which is why there's a water current that goes all the way around it, and there's indrawn seas and stuff. But they're definitely shapeshifters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these were
But
the
that's one of their abilities. They have many abilities.
daemons means divine being, and
Right.
I'm pretty sure they were shapeshifters, bro.
Yeah. And divine just sort of implies from above. You know what I mean? So the
Man.
beings above, or Titanic, they're Titans basically. Like these are Titanic,
Right.
human-like or human form entities up there in the sky that people saw celestially, and they would draw it. They were carving it out, they were painting it, they were drawing pictures of it, they were, drawing in the clay however they could, and they've never seen anything like that. This is us. That we will draw this one day when we survive. The
Yep.
apocalypse happens and all hell breaks loose, and then all of a sudden we see these symbols of peace and these symbols that are bringing light back into a dark world and stuff. It's the first thing people are going to draw.
Have you ever seen this? Blood. It's a cartoon that they made, but it's phenomenal, dude. What's it called? Who Blood of Zeus. Blood of Zeus. You seen this yet, bro?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. It has the Nephilim in it. Uh, all kinds. I even think there's some plasma apocalyptic symbolism in it a lot, bro. It came out in 2020. You should watch it, Jay. You'll really like it. Like, I know it looks like a cartoon, but it's like an adult cartoon.
Right.
it's it's
Okay.
pretty, it's pretty crazy, dude. It has these Nephilim entities in it. Um, Here's one of them. They're the Nephilim, and it's telling this whole story about them too, and it's just it's
Why
really
is it called Blood of Zeus? Do you know?
yeah, it's based on Zeus. That's like his kid or something.
Okay, I see.
The child
Well,
of
the blood of Zeus for me is also the blood of Jesus, and it's also. I mean, I'm not trying to equate, two different gods and say whatever, but I'm just saying that like the blood that
well,
falls down from these heavenly.
Jesus means Jesus, so You're
Right.
not
I mean, it's
far
what's
off.
one and the same.
Yeah.
And that's also it's a liquid. It doesn't have to be blood. It's seen as blood. Anything that drips off of a human is going to be called whatever people are familiar with. Sometimes it's tears of the gods. Sometimes it's the sweat of the gods. Sometimes the gods are sweating blood like Jesus did. Like, how do you sweat blood? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy. And Jesus is Thor, Jesus is Horus, Jesus is Buddha. It's the same entity. And shout
Yeah.
out to
So
any Christians
where
out there,
does the
yo,
where does
but
this
I'm
blood
telling
come
you,
from? You know what I mean? Where does this liquid substance that falls from the sky that is seen as a blessing to those who eat it or drink it, right? It's
yeah,
not, I mean,
kind of
it's not
crazy.
actual blood. Like, not condoning vampirism or anything. It's manna.
Yep.
It's the body of that entity. It's a piece of that entity made physical as the invisible interacts with the substance that's up there in the atmosphere in the form of vapor and gas and different types of gases and stuff. And then it's electrocuted, or it's got an electrical charge running through it. Then it will rain down on the world in areas where you see these places of power. It will rain down substance that's energetically charged, that mixes with the mist that's in the air because of the depressurization, and the different gases that are prevalent too, especially oxygen. So if you have energetically charged actual liquid form or viscous substance that's dripping down, coming off of or out from under what looks like the armpits of like some huge stick figure cosmic entity in the sky, people will describe it from their perspectives that it's bleeding, that it's raining, that water's coming out of its body somehow. Maybe it's crying and it's filling the world with its tears. But that substance is the manna that was known to solidify and to turn into what they call wafers or whatever. And this is where the Catholic transubstantiation comes in, where they hold up the ancient pagans before they were called Catholics. They used to hold up a wafer at the morning, and they would let the first rays of the focal point of the sun hit this wafer, and they would say this magical prayer in Latin, which was "Hoc est corpus meum," and they would hold it up, and that means this is my body. And this was a tradition that they did, right, which represented Atlas holding up the world, or that inverted dome above us, and the wafers, or the viscous substance that rains down from the depressurization point, right? It's all because Mount Meru's beam touches the depressurization point. And that depressurization point was seen as Uranu, or commonly called Uranus, but I say Uranu. So Uranu means to drop liquid. I mean, that's one of the things that it means. That's where we get the word urinate from, is liquid falling from the sky. It doesn't have to be pee or anything gross. It just means liquid falling from the sky. And it's highly related to like rain and those types of concepts. And
I
that's the
love your site.
manna that comes down from the sky, from these places of power. You know what I mean? And
You
that's
got
also
all
mountain dew. That's also the dew that falls down on the mountain, Mount Meru, right? Or whatever plasma volcano it happens to be, but Mount Meru is going to have the most. That's the mountain dew. And when it hardens, it turns into frosty flakes, these little flakes of frost from the heavens.
you got the dude from Stranger Things. What's that? A Fantasoid?
Yeah,
He
that's
looks
super a fanazoid.
he definitely is a Fantasoid, ain't he?
The
That
Demogorgon.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
Demogorgon.
He's
Bro, do you notice that how often they're starting to put monsters in movies where their face opens up like that?
yes, yes.
Even
Oh, there's Logan. Logan just hit me up. Shout out to Logan. It goes back to Prometheus. So in Prometheus, remember Prometheus? Okay, so the girl, when they put the black goo, that AI put the black goo into dude's drink, and that dude and that girl couldn't have a kid no more. Then they had sex that night, and they end up having a child, and it looked like a kraken. Like this kraken entity was born from her. Remember, she cut her stomach open to get it out. Well, she left it in that hospital bed, and then when they shoot down the engineer the giant Nephilim dude that's going back to Earth to take the black goo down there and destroy humanity, which, remember, they lost their ability to procreate because they merged with technology. That's the black goo, the programmable matter. They merged with it, so now they couldn't procreate normally. They would have to take the black goo, and that's how they would create. That's how they created humans, when you see them fall into the waterfall. But anyways, when he comes back, that engineer, to try to kill her for shooting down his craft, she opens the door, and that end scene right there, and the freaking Kraken thing comes out and grabs a hold of that engineer, and
Yeah.
then it sticks that long thing down his throat and bursts what comes out of him. You see that thing coming out of his stomach, which looks just like the Demigorgon.
Bro, check this out. So I've got multiple theories on different types of monsters, right? Or what people call monsters. One of the things that people should be careful of is that monsters used to exist, and therefore they will exist again. They used to there was a time when our world was flooded with monstrous creatures, okay? Friendly ones, evil ones, neutral ones, etc. That time will return because everything is cyclical or toroidal, and it's all spiraling and wrapping in on itself, so it's destined to return. What once was is destined to return again, and the thing that returns again is destined to disappear once more, and it continues on forever, or it seems like it does. Some of these monsters are just like bugs in our world. There's insectoid types or whatever, but they're gigantic. And some of them are parasitic. And if they bite you, some animals in this world, right, just terrestrial local animals that are a part of our world, they will inject babies into you. They will use you as a host to feed their babies, which is this whole aliens, being born out of the humans, or like in The Fly, Jeff Goldblum, like hooked up with the chick or whatever, Gina Davis, and they had a kid, and he was, she was dreaming that she was giving birth to this Phanazoid creature or whatever. Spaceballs or aliens, like whenever that alien bursts out of that dude's stomach and stuff. So that's one thing. One thing is that they can inject you with their young, okay, to use you as a food source while the young grows. So stay away. That's one thing. Two is they may have all types of diseases, otherworldly diseases. You don't want to, I always say, don't pet the Phanazoids. And I mean that, like at first, until you get used to them, them. This is why people wrote down ancient bestiaries. They logged, just like you would in a modern video game, or Dungeons and Dragons, or Magic the Gathering. Like you would create a log. You would track all the positive and negative attributes of all these different monsters and stuff, so that you can be safe. You know what I mean? And then there's also mutations to take into consideration as well.
This is my Yaldabaoth. You ever hear of the Archons?
Yeah.
These are entities that are like they're merged with AI, and then you look into Freemasonry and their spider god. This is it, guys. This is the Freemasonic spider god, and they showed it to us in South Park, the Queen Spider, and then Yahweh and Spider are the same thing, because Yahweh is Yahweh, which is Yaldabaoth. That's who it is. So
Yeah.
Take that how you want to take it. It is what it is. That's the archons that are controlling this reality.
And an ancient symbol that goes back as far as the beginning of our written language, of the spider god or goddess. Like, I remember I read that thing to you about the Hopi and how there was these different tribes. We were talking about the different worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Hopi said that, where was it? I got it right here. So let's see. So the Navajo believe we're in the fifth world, and the Aztec believe that we're in the fifth world going into the sixth. The Hopi believe that we're in the fourth world. Regardless, they all believe in these cycles. And it says of the Hopi that they believe that we're living in the fourth world. In the most common version of the story, the spider grandmother causes a reed to grow into the sky, and the reed, which is a column or a beam, emerges up into the fourth world, which is where we are today, which comes up out of the ground. Or if you're in the underworld, it goes up into their sky, right? And it says it emerges at the Sipapu, which is a small tunnel or interdimensional passage. I don't really like that word interdimensional all that much, but it's a door. It's a
I
door,
love.
a passage.
You don't like it?
I couldn't hear what you said.
You don't like the word interdimensional?
Oh, I like it. It's just that I feel like it's too easy to dismiss the physical world that we live in when we jump straight to like holographic or interdimensional and start, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's better for me to take it one step at a time, which is to first acknowledge the physical world as we experience it, which means that if there's a Sipapu, if there's a tunnel, if there's a Stargate, there's a physical one here in the world.
Yeah.
If there's a paradise, there's a physical one. I'm all about, figuring out the other dimensions and the other phases and, you know what I mean, apparition type stuff or whatever, but only after we have a better understanding of the actual physical world where we live.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I get that. And all this Batman symbolism, what Jay was talking about with the fifth age, before we went live, we started seeing all this crazy symbolism connected to Batman and obviously the event we had at the Aurora movie theater, and then with what's his face, Matthew Perry. He's called himself Matman. With the bowling alley incident, we had the Batman arcade game in there, which Jay covered in his thing. Now it's not letting me show this. Hold on one second. It won't let me show this slide right here. Oh man, it just, oops. I can't hear Jay either. I don't know
That was
what's
my
going
bad.
on right
That was my
now.
fault. I was
You
just saying
muted it?
I like the picture with the obelisks.
Oh yeah. So this one
Yeah, it
right
shows it
here.
there. You see that little horse dude with the middle, and then see that's a really good example right there. Hold on one sec.
The towers. This was connected to the double-headed phoenix, the twin towers, and the Boston situation. Let's just call it
Oh,
that.
yeah. So right there in the middle, see that how there's like that horse looking thing with a circle above its head?
Yeah, that's a lot of people. Okay, that's Atan, the sun
Yes.
god, the Egyptian sun god, right?
Right,
But also people believe it is a representation of Saturn, and some people think it's Nibiru.
I believe all of those, actually. I believe they're all one and the same. But I don't believe that is the focal point that we see in the sky today.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you
Not
there.
so. I mean, I'm not convinced by that. And then you have the obelisks, the twin symbolism of let's say that the world is electromagnetic in nature.
Brother.
What's that?
Jacob and Boaz is that twin symbolism. Just like
Yes.
the 19-year anniversary of 9/11, we had George Floyd, right? He passes away in the Twin Cities. He had twin brothers, two bald twins standing on each end of his coffin. It was all the same symbolism. We keep seeing the same twin Gemini symbolism.
Right.
And it kind of takes me back to the Hopi prophecy when the twins show up in the sky in the final days, right?
Yes.
Have you heard about that part in the Hopi prophecy? These twin brothers?
Yes.
The blue and what are they called? The blue Kachini, or I butchered that.
The blue Kachina?
Yeah, there you go. Blue Kachina. So yeah, the same twin symbolism. And we also see over and over again in all these movies this Joker symbolism, guys, which when you get into the decoding with your destiny card, right? You guys know I do all the breakdowns on people's name, tell you whether you're a first player character or a non-player character. So we all have these birth cards assigned to us, right? Jay Dreams, I think you're a 4 of diamonds if I'm not mistaken. I'm a 10 of diamonds. Paranoid American's a 10 too. I think he's a 10 of clubs. And Donut is the queen of spades, which is the sister card to my card. So out of all these different cards, let me show you an example real quick, guys. Let me show you an example. We'll just take Jay's birthday for an example because I want to show you how many different birthdays are assigned to each card because this has to do with this date that we're looking at, December. Okay, so this is the Joker card, right? The Alpha and the Omega card. It only has one birthday attached to it, December 31st. It's the only card like that. All the other cards. Jay, what's your birthday? I can't hear Jay. I'll just
Shoot,
put
my bad. September 7th. And I can't see anything on the screen if you're sharing.
Oh, okay.
Just that video with the flag.
Here, I'm going back now. I got to go back and probably share the screen. Duh. Oh, no, it's showing the screen. It's just not showing it yet. There we go. I mean, they're hitting me hard right now with this censorship. Something is going on with this live. So, see how this one of the 4 of clubs, guys, has all these different dates attached to it. So the 4 of clubs can be from April 30th or May 28th, or, you know, it has a bunch of different birthdays that's assigned to it, right? Now, if we go back to December 31st, this is the Alpha and Omega card. Usually people that have this coding too attached to their birthday are that Neo character within the simulation. And
Right.
man, they're really dialing this down bad. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on, bro. We must have striked the nerve during this live because yeah, they you know, it's unreal. But anyways, I got a slide for it so I can just come back here and show you. And guys, that's what we do over here. So for my people, if you're looking for a reading, the link's right there. Bam, click on that. And that's on my truthfultv.com website. That's down in the description. So the one we were talking about with all this Joker symbolism that we keep seeing in different movies. Here, let me present this now. Stop screen share. Okay. So right here, that's December 31st, which is connected to this card right here. Man, this is crazy. Okay. And that's the 5th age, right? So the Joker card, if you take from August 11th, the day HARP was patented, the 36-year anniversary of HARP, until December 31st, that gives us 142 days, which is 4 months and 20 days, 420. 142 is the 5th age. And that's what Jay was talking about with the Hopi prophecy. That the dying of this 4th age that the Hopis believe we're in, and the coming into this new 5th age. And in the movie Terminator, we see the same symbolism with the Joker. We see it in Volcano, the movie Volcano, the Joker symbolism again. In all these movies, you'll see the same Joker symbolism, which I believe is heavily connected to that day, December 31st of 2023. And then with the Batman situation in James Holmes, right? If you go from August 11th, which was the day HARP was patented, until December 8th, this is the day I keep predicting, is 119 days. And that's 17 weeks, guys, which Batman is 17, Nibiru is 17, and HARP is 17. And HARP was patented on 8/11. So I believe there's going to be a major event on December 8th. And they showed us this as well. We went over this last night in our live. They showed it to us in that series called Euphoria, which Angus Cloud's character dies in, right? Fezco. So when they're in season 2, episode 1, when they start showing you Angus Cloud's backstory, Fezco's backstory, how he grew up with his grandma, and then they got Ash, the little kid, from a drug deal that he was like a deposit that his mom never came to pick him up. And he died 8 days before Maui took place, before the 8/8 portal symbolism happened. So 8/8/8, 8 days before 8/8. And
Wow.
yeah, it was kind of weird. And if you go on truthmafia.com and type in Angus Cloud, swear to God, you'll see I predicted it. I said we were going to have a major ritual on 8/8, and 8 days later, we had the biggest one this whole year, which was
Yeah,
Maui. And we know how
that's
that
pretty
really happened.
interesting.
Yeah, and I totally predicted it. So
Oh,
we keep seeing 12, this 12/8 symbolism, or 128, Jay. And 128, brother, the 9/11, the towers collapsed at 10:28 a.m. The bridge collapsed in Pittsburgh on January 28th. The Challenger blew up on January 28th, right? Of 1986. And then 12/8, or no, I'm sorry, 10/8, October 28th was Matthew Perry's death.
right.
128 again, which is Bill Gates' birthday. So the next event, I believe, with the 128 symbolism will be on December 8th. And they show it in Euphoria. Just for a split second after they're telling you about Fezco's upbringing at 5 minutes and 9 seconds in to season 2, episode 1, they just show you the clock for a split second on 12:08. Me and Donut did a whole video on it. But I know you got to get going for your son too, brother.
Yeah, but remind me, I would really like to do a Mountain Dew presentation with you to break down, because I see a lot of the symbolism and even like almost prophetic names and the colors they're using with the Mountain Dew and stuff. And I don't know if you've heard me break down the symbolism behind the number 88, but I'd be happy to like talk about that too.
Yeah, we can get into that. That 8/8, which is connected to Raw too, and that energy connected to CERN. Yeah, we can definitely get into that, brother.
Okay.
And yeah, I thank you for coming on. They're dialing us down anyway, so I'll let you go and take care of your boy. And I just appreciate you coming on, brother Jay. Thank you. So guys, mark down on your calendars December 8th and December 31st. Tommy said there might be a staged event on these dates. Actually, I believe it'll be between December 1st and December 12th. That's the week period. I think they're going to pull something. And remember, the last day I told you was October 8th, and they declared war. Israel declared war that very next day when I told you that. And that was on a podcast with Jay. An hour and 44 minutes in to our Stranger Things decode, which you can see on my channel. So we love y'all. Thank you guys. All links are down below in the description. And we had a great time with y'all. We're out of here.
Bye-bye.
Let me see if it'll end it now. Boom. Thank you guys.